The Miami Grand Prix is Ferrari's next challenge. Today's Formula One is extremely complex, as a multitude of details make the difference. It's clear that the Maranello team didn't do its homework properly over the winter, and unfortunately, the results confirm it. The 677 project, much talked about but ineffective in several areas, is dragging down fans' hopes for the 2025 championship. Like every track on the calendar, Miami has favourable and unfavourable points. The crucial issue is whether the Italian team can strike the right compromise and deliver on lap performance. The setup process is emerging as a powerful tool to get the most out of the car. It's a key element which, when properly exploited, makes a big difference. Ferrari finds itself dealing with the same problem of a short operating window. When the limit is technical, there is basically nothing you can invent to fix a fundamental issue. Optimization is carried out based on the material available, combined with the driver's ability to drive over the problems. Charles Leclerc is excellent in this regard. The Monegasque has been outstanding in understanding the car and, as a result, extracting the maximum from it. This is not yet the case for Lewis Hamilton, still disconnected from this type of problem, suffering through an adaptation phase that calling difficult would be an understatement. Updates are needed. The simplicity of those two words clashes with a harsh reality. We now await the coming weeks to see whether the prancing horse can finally sort out this troublesome situation. Let's now take a look at the main issues which Ferrari has to contain for Miami. The Miami weekend is a transitional one. Technical updates are expected, as mentioned, upgrades that could radically change the face of the SF-25. That said, generally speaking, decent results are expected in Florida for the Italian side. We'll recall last year's podium when the Italian car played the role of the third force over the 300-kilometer distance and qualified second on Saturday. The American circuit features a highly varied layout, with wide radius corners in Sector 1, slow sections in Sector 2, and long, high-speed stretches in the final sector. This means the Italian car will need to find a working compromise between aerodynamic efficiency and mechanical grip, without excessively sacrificing one aspect over the other. The Maranello team has chosen to start from the first sector to build the car's setup, aiming to limit the damage in high-speed corners, and then fine-tune the balance for the rest of the track. A challenge shared by all F1 teams, but we know how much it can trouble the SF-25, which was forced in the early races to adopt extreme setups that, moreover, didn't work effectively. Sector 2 is clearly a concern, and there's a strong sense that the Maranello team may struggle heavily in that part of the circuit. It's not a matter of mechanical grip. The SF-25 has shown excellent ability to generate longitudinal grip at low speeds. The problem is the overall compromise that can be achieved. This needs to be clearly understood. That infamous short operating window again. It's the element that prevents the car from excelling in every type of corner. The example of Jeddah is telling, where the qualifying gap was born precisely from this issue in Sector 1, exacerbated by poor tire management at the start of the lap. In the 2024 edition of Miami, the SF-24 suffered from rear overheating, which created tire inconsistency and hurt race pace. This is somewhat the risk that could arise, though the hope is to better manage this factor. To be clear, this is a parameter that everyone needs to control. However, the tire activation disadvantage experienced in Saudi Arabia could turn into a benefit in Florida if managed correctly, offering more consistent grip throughout the lap. Ferrari has been working on this, seeking a breakthrough on tire behavior between qualifying and the race. McLaren is good at optimizing performance thanks to its great adaptability and wide operating window. The Maranello-based team must find the right balance between aerodynamics and mechanics, essential for maximizing each part of the American track. Only then will performance meet expectations. In the high-speed sections, Ferrari should perform well, right behind Red Bull, which on paper could dominate in this area. If the SF-25 proves competitive again in longitudinal acceleration phases, it will have a key strategic asset in the race, along with a solid chance to limit damage in qualifying and compensate for difficulties in the more technical sectors. Miami is a track that represents a crucial test for understanding the true performance hierarchy, thanks to its technical variety and the balance required in terms of setup. The circuit is divided into 3 well-defined sectors, each with truly unique technical characteristics. We're talking about high speeds, slow Monaco-style corners, heavy braking, and long straights. Traction, braking, lateral forces, and downforce are all parameters that can't be overlooked. Acceleration phases will be decisive when exiting turns 1, 8, 16, and 17. Traction from low speeds leading into very long straights, such as the stretch from turn 8 to 11, and the very long straight between turns 16 and 17, makes this section crucial. The heavy braking, such as from 338 km per hour down to 70 km per hour at turn 17, or the entry into turn 11, puts stress on the braking system and the car's stability. In this respect, hybrid energy management will be key, especially from the MGU-K system, which recovers kinetic energy under braking and releases it during acceleration, boosting the internal combustion engine's power. As for downforce levels, the rear wing will be set to medium/medium-low load, but with different trends depending on the team. Some, like McLaren, might opt for lower rear loads to reduce drag, taking advantage of their ability to generate downforce even with less loaded setups. Ferrari, on the other hand, might use a beam wing to compensate for a rear wing slightly below the optimal downforce level. The engineering approach to this race is entirely dictated by the compromise between suspension stiffness and softness. Simply put, a balance must be found between performance in high-speed corners and grip in the slower sections. The front suspension will generally be stiff, crucial for managing quick direction changes in turns 2, 6. A setup that avoids body roll and maintains consistent Venturi channel operation, ensuring aerodynamic stability and precise steering response. The rear suspension instead will be softer. The goal is to favor weight transfer to the rear during traction phases, improving the ability to put power down when exiting slow corners, aiding acceleration into long straights. However, compromise is mandatory. Too much stiffness at the front can penalize mechanical grip in slow corners, like the 11-16 sequence, where grip depends less on downforce and more on suspension support quality. The section from turn 11 to turn 16 is a small preview of what we'll see in Monaco. Corners taken at 7,100 km per hour where mechanical grip becomes dominant. Performance in this section could give us clues about who might be competitive in Monaco, just as happened last year when Leclerc showed competitive pace that was later confirmed on the streets of the Principality. A strategic element that's becoming more and more important in modern setups is damper adjustment. Teams already work on differentiated setups for slow and fast corners before the weekend. In high-speed corners, stiff springs are needed with controlled, slow compression and rebound to avoid aerodynamic imbalances and keep ride height stable, crucial for the Venturi channel's efficiency. In low-speed corners, a bit of stiffness can be sacrificed to gain more mechanical grip. Nervous car behavior must be avoided, where high curbs could even damage the floor if ride height is too low. The goal is to run ride heights as low as possible to limit drag, without compromising the integrity of the floor and the ability to absorb bumps. The Miami International Autodrome is a crucial testing ground, where the balance between all technical components makes every choice a difficult compromise. Aerodynamic efficiency, traction, rear-end stability, and front-end precision, decisive aspects to stand out.